What's up, guys? Out here with another video. And if you've dealt with the Hebrew Israelite community, especially the moderate Hebrew Israelites, and that are the Hebrew Israelites who are not a part of any camp, they're just basically the ones who they're just on the internet all the time, YouTube videos. They're not a part of any fellowship. Some of them are going to your churches. They sitting right next to you in church. They're hidden in plain sight. But anyway, those type of Hebrew Israelites have this particular argument, right? When you start to question them, or you start to bring out certain things about how false their beliefs are. For instance, you'll say that, hey, listen, by you saying that black people are the true Hebrew Israelites, there's some problems with that claim. And usually their argument is, well, you guys don't say that to the white Jews, or you don't say that to Asian people, you don't say that to Hispanics and African people who have a culture, but they still consider themselves to be Christian or whatever. Now, the reason why I'm addressing this particular issue is because I've recently heard Eric Mason use that same type of ideology, right? Because I think he was on somebody's podcast and he was doing an interview, and the issue came up, and the question basically was, if somebody comes to you and they say, well, hey, how come you just don't preach the gospel? How come you just don't focus on getting the gospel out? Like, why do you have to incorporate your blackness and your black culture and all of that stuff when you are preaching the gospel? And he basically used that same argument by saying that, well, no one else says anything to these white European Jews and these Hispanics or these Asians or Indians. Nobody says anything to them about them, about them having a culture. Then how come we got to be the ones that don't have a culture? So when I heard him say that, I was just like, he sounds just like one of these Hebrew Israelites. And what's so ironic is that he speaks against the Hebrew Israelites, and he has made the argument that that their whole ideology or their whole belief is race centered. And it was just fascinating to me to hear him come up with the same line of argumentation to support, the whole woke church, black church culture movement, right? Now, I have friends who are Christian from different ethnicities, right? People who are Hispanic, excuse me, Asian, Indian, African, white, black. I mean, these are people that I can call up right now and just have a conversation with. Now, Eric Mason's not just Eric Mason, but people who have that same ideology that black people should be able to have a culture and be Christian because everybody else is doing it. That's quite the contrary when you actually have true Christian friends who are of different races and ethnicities or different nationalities, and they're from different parts of the world. When you go in their home, you don't see a bunch of their culture in their homes, right? Like, if I go to some of my Asian friends' homes, you don't see the golden cat, and you don't see the Chinese dragons and all of the different pagodas and all of this stuff. You don't see that all over their homes. Just like my Hispanic friends, you don't see pictures of like the Virgin Mary up all over the place, or you don't see people like Cesar Chavez, people who have made great contributions, or secular people who have made great contributions to their people or to their group, right? Like, for instance, you don't see, like with us, basically, You know, you got people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and, you know, this person and that person. And, you know, you go to some black people's homes and you see all of these pictures of these very influential people on their walls and in their homes. With the people who are from different parts of the world, they don't have that in their homes if they are Christian. You see what I'm saying? So when I go to my Indian friends' homes, they don't have pictures of Gandhi and all of these different people, because they know that behind a lot of those movements and those ideologies is Satan. So by them being Christian, they keep all of that out. They basically abandon all of that cultural stuff. Now, of course, they're going to eat certain foods and they may wear certain clothes and things like that, but it's not because of they're trying to preserve a culture. They're doing it because that's where they were raised. That's what they have been accustomed to. And those things are neutral. Those things don't sway their faith, you know, to the left or to the right. But with black people, when we're starting to look at people like Dr. Martin Luther King, who had not such a sound biblical view of Christ, do your research on it. Malcolm X, who wasn't a Christian. You know, people look at, they look at W.E.B. Du Bois and people like that, who did not have a sound biblical worldview. They have more of a secular worldview. So therefore, when we say, hey, preach the gospel, stop trying to build some black culture, or trying to preserve some black culture, because we know a lot of that stuff is anti-Bible and it's anti-Christ. That's why we need to stay away from that stuff. So the next time you hear somebody having this argument saying that, well, y'all don't say nothing to these other folks over here who preserve their culture, correct them. Nope, hey, hold on. I don't see that with real, true Christian Asian people. Real Bible-believing Hispanic people. You know, a person who is Indian who has submitted their life to Christ. We don't see that. If they're willing, if they can give up their culture, and if they have given up their culture to serve Christ, then we can do the same. Us as black people, we don't have to preserve no culture to follow Christ. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. You know, do you think that we do need to try to preserve our culture, our identity as black people, no matter if we claim to be Hebrew Israelites or a part of the church or the woke church or whatever? Or do you happen to believe that, hey, once we're made new in Christ, all of that cultural stuff is out the window? We don't need it. It's all trash. Just like how Paul said, I think it was in Philippians, where he says that, you know, all of that he considered garbage. His whole Hebrew identity, his Israelite identity, being a Pharisee, all of that stuff, he considered it garbage. And he said that he loses all of that for the sake of the cross. But anyway, like I said, whatever you think, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, like this video, rate it, share it, subscribe, and you guys have a blessed day.